Next item is revisions to procedures for evaluating coaches.
Mr. Hayes.
I think you have a document. This is something that Mr. Buss and I have been working on with Mr. Kern for the last year and a half. We meet regularly, and I guess just a little tiny bit of background. I will not take long, I promise. One of the things that we've been focused on in our conversations is being intentional about preparing for transitions. And Mr. Kern has been honest about the horizon on his upcoming retirement within a few years, and Ms. Bethhauser has been very honest about her potential retirement at the end of this school year. So as we look to those and thinking about transition, we want to make sure that we have a leadership structure for our athletic and activities program that is ready for that transition. What you can see in the table that I think maybe you have attached or don't, the structure. Okay, great. Our athletic director oversees both middle school and high school, which is unique to Toma. And in addition to that, was evaluating all coaches at all levels. And so we're proposing this move. It's gone to the activities review committee as well. But the two key points. One is to make sure that the person who's truly responsible for the program, and that would be the varsity head coach, has some ownership in really developing their team. So when we have a new varsity head basketball coach, they have ownership in developing their team of assistants at the high school, developing the coaches at the middle school, and the program all the way through. The second is to make the evaluation that's done by the athletic director a more meaningful process rather than one of 40-some boxes that need to be ticked off each year. So that when the cycle is up for evaluation of that head coach and really of that entire program, that the athletic director has the time to really dig in, get the parent feedback, the student feedback, and give a broad view of what's going on with that program. Something Tom has had ideas about for a long time, and as he's worked with Steve and I, we really put together a game plan that went to activities review, got altered slightly, but I think it's a good proposal that's in front of you today. And I don't know, Gary, if you want to add anything, or Cindy, or...
I was just going to say, this proposal has been approved by the Activities Review Committee.
Yep.
There was discussion.
Yeah.
I think part of it was, and I totally agree that the head coach has to take responsibility and try to develop the programs, and I think it's very important that happens. And I think it's important to have the meaningful evaluation of the program as an entirety, whether it's activities or athletics. I know the concern was, as far as the head coach evaluating, they have a lot on their plate. So I know that was a concern, and so I'm not quite sure how you develop that so that it's not too exhaustive, and yet that they do have that control and ability to do it. So that's just something to think about.
Yeah.
And I know you have on here, I don't know if you have to approve it tonight, but just something to think about too as that goes forward. And I don't know, and you talked, Mr. Hay, that have they developed something a little more helpful in doing the evaluation, or the tool they're going to use? Is that maybe not there yet?
I think that's probably the next step. If this is something we want to move forward with, that we would want to talk to our friends at Holman on Alaska, Sparta, and Aquinas, and see what they're doing and how they're doing it, so that we can make sure that it's not just adding more work, but it's meaningful work.
Yeah, I think that was probably the gist of the conversation.
I had a conversation with Deb following that meeting too. So.
And I know, Gary, you weren't at that one.
I didn't make it, but there's something that I think can be said. You mentioned parents. Now, in my mind, parents need to get a full grasp of what a head coach is doing. I mean, I've been involved in sports for a long time, and you'll hear comments from the crowd. Usually a few of these slander the coach. Or they don't understand the game plan he's got. But I think that's all brought out by a coach at the start of the season. This is what I do. In my mind, we have a great football coach that is able to handle that situation.
Yeah.
In some cases, some of our coaches haven't been able to do that. So you have, and I went through this as a board member. We had a kind of a riot thing up there at the district office one year about a guy that complained about his son not having enough playing time. I think what can be done is that at the start of the season, the coach says, this is the way I run the outfit. If you've got a comment, come and see me personally about it. Don't be sitting up there in the stands blowing your mouth off and getting other people agitated so that you have a confrontation.
Sure.
That's all I got. I mean, and it happens.
Absolutely. Yep. We all get passionate in different ways.
Yes, we do. But I think if the coach presents it prior to the season that he's coaching on how he wants to run the plan, then you got something to say, come and see me personally on it.
Yep.
I'm sensing that you would like this to be put on hold until you actually saw the evaluation tool that would be used by the coaches. Is that what I'm...
And I think that would be fine. There isn't a rush that we have to
Yeah, it didn't
have
sound
this
like
in
it.
action tomorrow. So.
Yeah, Tom didn't sound like it was.
But if you guys approve that at that meeting,
Discussed it, and yeah, it was brought forward as a recommendation.
so
And, yeah.
I said you can exclude that because I wasn't there.
Oh, right. But I think that's not a bad idea, so we can see the whole process, if that's what the consensus is. Just like you do.
We will do that and we will come back.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you.